presenting on implementing new technologies and local participation in the mining industry. Meetings for the General Manager, Asanko Gold, Mr. Chasamwa, who is not here this morning due to some other critical business he has to attend to. He sends a special regards. I know he's not here, so I'm representing him. So, looking at the topic that we need to talk about, pushing our boundaries, implementing new technologies and local participation in the mining industry that Asanko Gold experience. And as we all know, Asanko Gold is the new baby in terms of the mining industry. Yeah, so I'll just give you a brief description or tell you about Asanko Gold. Our vision is to build a low-cost, mid-tier gold mining company through the delivery of a three-pronged strategy. That's phase-based production, competitive operation, and then capital cost and growth. And then this will run both in tandem with organic expansion and growth. For the sake of students who are here, when we say a mid-tier gold mining company, it's a company that has various assets in terms of gold production in different countries. So our vision is that by the year 2020, Asanko Gold should be in different countries. Operating like some of the big mines are doing currently. We started commercial gold production on the 1st of April 2016, and the steady state operating levels that was achieved in Q2 2016. Asanko Gold is managed by a highly skilled and successful team of technical, operational, and financial professionals who are experienced in mine building and managing large mining operations. And then a clear and a typical example is our chairman, Ben Edu, who is also part of the team here. And the company is strongly committed to the highest standards for environmental management, social responsibility, and health and safety for its employees and the neighboring communities. So by way of location on the map, as the crow flies from Kumasi, this is where these are our current concessions that we have. We currently operating in Crampit in the Amansia West district, and these are some of the concessions we have. So this is Asanko Gold. These are by way of location, situated in Ashanti region. So today, what I'm going to talk about, everybody here is waiting. What is this man going to talk about? What new technology is he going to talk about? Well, as Riley said, by profession, I'm a geotechnical engineer. And I think for many years in the mining industry, we all know how critical slope stability monitoring it is to mine operations. So when Asanko came into being, management decided, what are we going to do differently to curtail the principles or the problem that arises from slope stability issues and then the impact on mining. So we decided to go into a new technology that was we discovered from a company in Australia by name GroundPro. So they are into the manufacture of a slope stability monitoring device called a radar. So Asanko went in looking at the capabilities and functions of that instrument. We thought it wise. Because looking at our vision, where we want to go, our business strategy, we said, look, let's go for this innovation. And then it has never failed that it has been good. So I want to share with you what we've done with this instrument, what it does, what it's capable of doing. So I'm going to talk about the slope stability radar, which Asanko has acquired. And Mr. Chairman, it might interest you to know that we are the first company in West Africa who is currently using this equipment. Goldfields Ghana, from a technical presentation that we had, has also thought it wise to get one. So as I speak to you now, Goldfields Ghana is the second company who just acquired it about 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to talk about the Asanko way and then what Asanko wants to avoid, and then I'll show a video evidence of what we want to avoid by way of slope stability. And then I'll talk about the slope stability radar and then its capabilities, the key functionalities, and then how we use it in slope monitoring so that people have an appreciation of what it does. And then the usefulness of failure forecast and monitoring by using this equipment. And then also talk about the local impact in the mining industry with the use of this SSR and then its operational benefits to us. So this is the equipment that we're talking about. That's the slope stability radar, which we're currently using in Asanko mine. So what's the Asanko's interest? The management of Asanko Gold is committed to placing its employees at the heart of safety culture by ensuring that all personnel execute their tasks in a safe and healthy environment. And this, I will probably say, is evidence in our industry-leading safety record maintained within a rolling 12 month of a life LTI of 0.02, which is a world-class record. And then in the operation of a safe and economic mine, managing risks associated with slopes instability is essential process. And then so due to this issues or factors that we considered, we thought that no, let's go for the SSR that's been developed by GrandPro, so that this will offer us the needed solution for our operations. So I will just show this video and to tell you why Asanko went in for this instrument. So this video is currently, this is one of an operating mine where you can see the drill rig is drilling over there with one Geotech engineer and then another colleague. They are there, captured there. And then they were drilling due to their day-to-day activities. And you saw the slide. We were just beneath the wall. So this is a live view from an operating mine. So you saw people running helter-skelter. And then from the rig will be trapped. And then they were fortunate there were no fatalities. But then we all know the impact of this to operations. So we thought it was no, Asanko will not go the orthodox way. We'll go through the new and improvised systems of monitoring slopes so that people will be safe and equipment, people go to work and come home very safe. So because of this video evidence, that is why we went in for this. So let me talk about the slope stability radar. It's a technology, as I said earlier, invented by the GrandPro, an Australian company, for measuring and monitoring movements in soils and rock slope. The radar, what it does is it remotely scans the rock slopes, that's the pit face, to continuously measure any surface movement and can be used to detect and alert users of wall movement within a sub-millimeter precision. The highly accurate measurements and broad area coverage allows for an improved understanding of slopes in open pit mines. It allows users to assess the magnitude of potential instability, the velocity at which they are developing, and provides warning times to action prior to failure or slope movement. The radar waves adequately penetrate through rains, foggy weather and dust conditions, and smoke, and that gives a reliable measurement within a 24-hour period. So what this machine does is, it uses a principle called interferometry. It sends wave signal, it scans the pit walls within a millisecond, and it gives a feedback in terms of movement, what is happening. And then it goes through all atmospheric conditions, whether rain or shine. I mean, there have been times when we all know in the mining industry, we are miners. When it rains, people have to stop work because you don't know what is going to happen to you in the pit. But with this slope stability radar, when it's raining, you can even look at based on the movement or the potential of the wall movement. You can so decide and advise the production team, look, you can work here because this place is safe. So that is one of the beauty of this instrument. So what it also does is it measures movement 3 kilometers away from where it sits. So if you have a pit that is about 3 kilometers away, this radar will be monitoring and scanning for you. You don't need people to be going around with their own orthodox way, using prisms, moving back and forth. It sits there and can just shoot 3 kilometers away and it gives you all the information there. And then it's used to effectively identify new hazard locations. When, I mean, any hazard can come in terms of wall movement or anything. So this machine will definitely give you those new hazard locations. And what it does is that it uses stackable alarms. What those alarms does is we have 3 different sets of alarms that you can even operate from your phone and then your laptop. And I will show you a live feed. So we have these alarms that tells you, personnel, that this movement is happening here. And then we have the production team, the Geotechs, I mean, and even all the, to certain levels, people having it on their phones. So this gives you information of what is happening, tell you what of any accelerated movement in the pit. So, and what it also does is that once you detect those alarms, it gives you an advanced technique and then it forecasts the failure, the time that place is going to move, and then it just informs you when. So it helps production by telling you, okay, this area is going to move, so don't work here. You can just divert and do, and it helps production. It informs, so it gives all those analysis, and I'll show you how this is done. And as I said earlier, it also cuts through atmospheric conditions. So those are some of the capabilities. So this is what the machine does. Currently, this is where it's situated around our pit. So it transmits the radar signal and receive a reflected wave. So you see the transmission. The green is the signal, and then it hits the wall. Once it hits the wall, it gives the transmitted wave back to the radar. So when it hits the wall and there's no movement, you see this signal coming in the same form. But when there's a change in movement between the reflected and the transmitted, you see there's a change in phase. So that change in phase is what we will classify as a deformation or a movement. So that is what he does. So whatever, and then these are the stages. So once you have the change in phase, that will represent as a deformation, and to scanning, then you as a geotech engineer, you will just analyze and monitor why that change in phase is coming. Maybe it's a vehicular track movement, or maybe rainfall or something. So this is how it operates, and then it sends the feed to this control board here, which will send a direct signal to the control room or the dispatch room at the mining office, where you have a geotech guy sitting there and then monitoring and then analyzing the data every second. So that's what I've the function that I've just summarized. So what it does is that data is transmitted remotely to a primary monitoring point in the office via a repeater modem. And then also data is analyzed by the geotech engineer to identify slope deformation trends, and alarms are set for all identified hazards. So once the radar brings all this deformation or a change in deformation, the onus lies on the geotech engineer to set alarms at those areas and see what is happening. So the alarm beeps to tell you what is happening, then you do the analysis and to see if it's something that you need to evacuate the people, or you should just tell them to continue mining. And then what we do is that we look at various movements in this radar, and where we critically sort of start looking at the movement critically is when we have a progressive deformation, which I will just show you quickly. This thing is technical, so I will not bother you with it. So I mean, this is the trend. You know, it first goes through a regressive movement, which will be monitoring. So, and then this is a transition movement. So once this is the area that you see that a wall or a slope will fail. So once you see your graph transitioning into the progressive movement, then you have to critically do the analysis, and then it tells you that the area is going to fail, and a wall will only fail when it has just advanced into the progressive movement. So when you get into this area, this is where you have to start doing your analysis and start advising production on the area, and then what to do next. Yeah, so these are some of the terms that we want to bore you much with. So some of the things we look at with this SSR, we look at deformation, and the deformation, as I've said, is how the radar transmits the change in phase of movement. And once you get this linear, it goes through the linear, regressive, and progressive. But then you also have to look at the velocity, the rate at which it's going, it's moving. And that will also inform you, do those analysis. And then you also do inverse velocity analysis. And what inverse velocity analysis does, I mean, when a material only collapses, when inverse velocity is approaching zero. So we do all this analysis, and then you can comfortably tell your mine manager, your general manager, look, this area is going to fail within a week or two. And then we have never been far from right. So I'll just take you through the approach. So the radar the radar is scanning the wall, and then as it's scanning, you set alarms for it. So you see that where there's going to be a potential slip, it starts giving you some signal in terms of a heat wave, as is shown in the yellow. So you'll be monitoring, and then it goes into, and then once the place is moving, you see the heat wave, it starts moving from light yellow into deep yellow, and then you see some reddish thing coming inside. So the geotechnical engineer will be there, and once he's doing this analysis, it's also feeding the pit operating staff, the production engineers, the drillers, on what is happening. And it's a second thing. You just be telling them this is how the place is moving. So you see, it started once the movement increases, it intensifies in terms of the heat wave. You see the red coming in. So it tells you that look, the place is gradually moving. So you need to do something. So you monitor this, and then once it gets to this stage, this is where I will call the progressive movement starts setting in. So as a geotechnical engineer, you have to quickly go in, do your analysis, and start, advising production on what to do. If they are mining in that area, you quickly need to come up with an evacuation plan or change your mining schedules. So once it gets to this point, you see the graph hitting into the progressive. This is to tell you that look, there's going to be an imminent danger, or there's going to be a movement of failure. So quickly you need to do something. So that is the levels of warning. And once you get this yellow, as I started, you see this yellow alarm, so it tells you there's something happening. Then it goes to yellow to orange, and it gets to critical. So critical is where you see that look, you need to do something. And because we don't want to scare people, we normally restrict our pit supervisors and other junior guys with the yellow alarms and oranges. And these red alarms go to top management, like the general manager, the mine manager, and then the geotechnical engineer. So once they get a red alert or alarm, then you know you have to do something. So assuming I'm here, and then the general manager gets a red alert on his phone, then he has to be looking for Eddie Blankson. What is happening? There's something happening, because I may not be at that place at that time. So it's a shared responsibility. People, we watch each other's back in terms of using this device. So this is the pit as it looks. So these are some of the information we get. So the radar scans it, and you see the tracks working there. So you sit in the office and you know what is happening. So it's a live feed that comes in. So it tells you the movement, and then you model it. So these are some of the data we capture in terms of using this equipment. So we monitor until we get to a stage where there's a captured failure, and then you use all this analysis to capture and then advise. So this is some of the feed we get from the equipment. And what we do is that every morning, before we start production, we come up with a stability report. So before the production crew, everybody goes into the pit. They know the current state of the pit. And you could see here, I've just outlined something in red. So we're talking about a place in the pit. And we told them we are expecting the place to slide, or there's movement around 2 p.m. So the day's activities, before you go, assume you want to mine at this is the northeast ramp wall. They have to look at this information and devise a plan into the mining schedule for the day. So they may so decide that they will work there for a period of maybe 4 hours or 2 hours prior to the time, or decide not to go there at all. So you see how best this kind of equipment helps in production and then safety. So this is how the data we get from the radar. So this data you see here, or graph, is being pulled from the analysis we do daily. So in a case where, and I was just talking about the northeast ramp, which we predicted that around this time there's going to be a slide. So what we do, we pull and we do the graphs and we analyze. So you can see from the graph, we said failure forecast between 5:30 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. on 24th August. So, if you have a prison there, I'm monitoring the walls. Is the surveyor going to give you this at this time? Because you need to be updating or analyzing the prison daily. But the radar will just tell you. And then it will not be, from studies, we had this radar in November 2015. And from our analysis, you can look at the records. It's always a plus or minus 30 minutes from our analysis. So that is why we pride ourselves with our LTI of 0.02. So in terms of local participation, Mr. Chairman, to interest you to know that the geotechnical team in Asanko has undergone and completed basic to advanced module training in this SSR monitoring. And I think we bought the 320th equipment in West Africa. And it will interest you to know that of all the mining companies, Asanko Gold is the only company who doesn't have a ground probe engineer or technical specialist on site. because we told them we want to handle it, make it our own, and train our people. So it's something we pride ourselves in, and then we've gone through all the models, we have been certified, and we are fully running this equipment, this sophisticated equipment. And then we've also trained our mine operating teams in it. And then in terms of local training too, we also realized that with students coming in from KNUST, Legon, and UMAT to come and do their internship, we realized that there was not much knowledge in the field of slope stability monitoring. So we took it upon ourselves to kind of train students in this area, because when you have those equipment, you can do, the equipment will tell you how the failure is going to happen, where the material is going to slide, and the volumes of material to expect. So this year we brought 5 geological engineering students from KNUST on board, and they selected various topics with regards to the slope monitoring using the SSR for their project work for this year. We hope to also extend it to UMAT and other places. And again, as I said, what we're also going to do is we are also going to embark this year, from next academic year, on industrial experience seminars with KNUST. There's that agreement between KNUST and Asanko, where every Friday we take a topic in the mining field from Geotech every side, and then talk to the students about some of the areas they have to specialize in. Because I can tell you, we have a few geotechnical engineers in Ghana. So we want to use the Asanko way to preach to people, just as we've also done with Goldfields coming in. We've also told them, look, we have the expertise here, we'll come in and train you and also train people. So that is what Asanko is also doing. And then just as I said earlier on, I mean, if you should, this machine can be, manipulated or analyzed remotely. Should you get a geotech engineer from ground probe manning your machine or equipment for you in terms of monitoring and reporting, what you tend to pay, you pay $120,000 in 6 months, which translates into $240,000. But with our training and capabilities, this money is being chopped in the coffers of Asanko. So it's also helping us in terms of cost saving. And as I also said, Asanko is the first company to introduce this innovative technology in the West African sub-region, with Goldfields getting it just 2 weeks ago. So this is I think my time is up. So this is just to tell you how we help people in terms of production participate in organizing targeted action plans in terms of evacuating the pit. But I'll just skip that. And then I'll just quickly go through the operational benefits that Asanko we are enjoying from this innovative technology. We say improve safety. Geotech is able to give advance warning on rock mass movement for the evacuation of personnel and equipment from hazard areas. We also talk about reduced production delays. The radar is used to closely monitor pit walls with instability issues arising from mining-induced processes to allow production equipment into new mineable areas on schedule. We also talk about the benefits from better managed weather conditions. By allowing production to continue based on real-time analysis of data, the use of the SSR promotes informed reaction to geotechnical risk on slope mass movement throughout wet conditions. And finally, we said it has always optimized production for us, and you can look at our production numbers. It's good that a CEO is here from Chamber of Mines. He will attest to our production numbers. Provide useful data to geotechnical, mine planning, and production engineers to make informed decisions to optimize safety and economic mine productivity. So I will just, in a nutshell, I'll just show a video in summary of what is that.
Yeah, it's
important.
It's important.
The video is.
Yeah.
Risks associated with slope instability is an essential process in the safe and economic operation of open cut mines. The Slope Stability Radar, SSR, has been developed to better manage these risks. The SSR remotely scans rock slopes to continuously measure any surface movement and can be used to detect and alert users of wall movements with sub-millimeter precision. The highly accurate measurements and broad area coverage of the SSR allows for an improved understanding of slopes in open pit mines. It allows users to assess the magnitude of potential instability, the velocity at which it's developing, and provides warning time to take action prior to failures. Radar waves adequately penetrate through rain, fog, dust and smoke to give reliable measurements 24 hours a day. SSR systems have been deployed in many mines all over the world and have captured hundreds of failures, giving Ground Probe an unrivaled understanding of slope stability in open-cut mining. The management of risk to personnel, equipment and continued production associated with slope instability is one of the key roles of geotechnical and mining engineers in open-cut mines. The SSR system produces data for interpretation, usually within minutes. The data from the SSR is presented as a coloured heat map of total deformation, which quickly enables the user to determine the size, location and speed of any movement. Any number of time displacement graphs can be created at any location within the scan area to evaluate displacement rates and aid in the creation of alarm triggers for action response plans. A number of alarms are often used at mine operations. Red alarms are set for critical alarm situations where an emergency is announced and the pit superintendent is notified to evacuate the area of concern, as well as calling the geotechnical department. Orange alarms, also known as geotechnical alarms, are set where movements indicate a developing situation that the geotechnical department should be made aware of and provide guidance on. The selection of alarm triggers is done on a custom basis by mine geotechnical personnel. Alarms can be set up based on displacement versus time thresholds and size of failure. The monitoring computers can be located at dispatch and geotechnical offices for continuous monitoring of the walls. The SSR can be used to monitor long-term developing failures or to identify rapid failures following excavation, blasting, or other changes in loading conditions. The SSR operates within highly variable geotechnical conditions, including massive hard rock, foliated structures, weathered oxide pits, coal strata, and waste dumps of variable characteristics. SSR technology has enabled a radical change in the management of risks in open-cut mining operations, which has resulted in a rapid take-up of the technology throughout the world. The SSR is now an integral part of mines, providing major contributions to safety and mine design by providing accurate, reliable deformation data that can be later reviewed to further develop understanding and analysis of failure mechanisms in open...
Mr. Chow, let me just show you currently a bit of a take-home for my presentation. So what you currently see, as I'm standing here, I'm also monitoring my pit from Asanko. So this is a live feed. So that's what I'm doing now. So anywhere you are with this technology, you can just monitor your pit. So you can just monitor your pit and you give the production crew, the manager, mining, everybody a peace of mind to operate. So I'm here and I can still, I'm a live feed, monitor my pit. So this is a bit of the Asanko technology we want to share, innovative technology we want to share with the team here. Thank you very much.
Thank you and congratulations for this excellent presentation. I'm really convinced that it is a marvelous equipment. My first question is, how long it takes to train a geotechnical engineer to be able to use properly this equipment? The second question is, could you give us an idea on the price of this equipment? Thank you.
That's right. From Golden Star Resources. I also wanted to ask about the technology, if it's transferable to underground operations. So I guess you answer that. But it's also a suggestion to the chamber to also encourage the sharing of such best practices in the industry, so that we can encourage continuous improvement in the industry. Thank you.
Mines are there any failures, if any? Maybe it may predict there's going to be a failure, but it doesn't happen. Are there any failures? And then secondly, can we eliminate the human factor? Because it may send a report to the geotech engineer, it may be sleeping, it may be off, whatever. Is it possible?
I'm Global Operative. Apparently, I started my career from the geotechnical department before being shipped to the production side. And I was introduced to this machine at Tropicana, Australia, 2015. And I want to pick on your experience. Since you've used it extensively, I want to know how best we can use it in an underground mine for our wall stability, since our stope strike length are determined by the hydraulic radius. How best can we apply that in an underground mine to monitor our open stoping?
Mr. Blankson, thank you for such a wonderful presentation. My question is, as a geotechnical engineer, is there any limitation to the SSR in slope monitoring? And if there are, what else is done in addition to the use to maximize output?
Thank you for that question.
So, Mr. Blankson.
Okay, thank you. I'll start from the bottom. How long does it take to train a geotechnical engineer? As I said, we got this in November 2015. It took us, for me as the lead, it took me 6 months, because there are 4 modules of exams, very competitive exams that you need to write for you to get the certification to handle it, because you can bear with me that you are dealing with human lives here. So they will not, there are a lot of legalities involved. So you need to go through, write exams, and it took me 6 months. And currently, I have 2 national service person I'm training, and it's taking them a year to. So I would say ideally, it should take you 6 months to get the needed expertise to handle it with certification. And then the price, I think it's quite an expensive. So on the question of the human factor, yes, I think it's a very laudable question. What we do is that we have geotechnical engineers manning this 24 hours. So there's a night shift and day shift approach on monitoring. So aside the normal monitoring that we have on our laptops and machine, we have dedicated geotechnical staff who sit in the control room 24/7 managing. So there's nothing like somebody is sleeping or not. They are dedicated team who manages this for us. So that eliminates the human factor. In terms of failures, yes, we all know mining have a movement with, and in my presentation, you saw a graph that we did forecasting, and we said this thing is going to fail around 5:30. We've had some failures, and as I told you, this equipment detected it right on spot, and we're able to. We didn't have any equipment or human life damage. So yes, we get them. And my friend who spoke about what he wanted to know whether in terms of underground. Yes, there are 4 different types of radars. What we have is called the XT. The XT is for open pit, and what it does is scans 270 degrees, and then that's vertical, 270 degrees horizontal, and then 90 degrees vertical. Due to our operational needs, this is what we have. For underground, they have what we call the synthetic aperture radar that is used for underground, and that's scans 360 degree based on the inclination and everything. Yes, there is one for underground. So when you go to the ground probe site, it is there. There are 4 different types for specific needs, but for underground operation, they have it called a synthetic aperture radar.
All right. That's it.
And then I think somebody talk about limitations. Yes, one of the limitations is that it uses internet from the pit and also the battery line. So ground probe have come out with a machine called the Watchdog, and the Watchdog comes with inbuilt internet facility and battery that can support this radar for 5 years. So that is the limitation, and they have come up with something about 3 months ago called the Watchdog, which we have. So you can confidently use the radar on internet and then power supply with that little machine called the Watchdog for 5 years. Considering in the area where you don't have internet and also line of sight, you can use the Watchdog, and that curtails the limitations of the radar. And then again is the weather station. Those days when it used to rain, you don't get optimal feed. Now the radar comes with the weather station on top of it, which counter the atmospheric challenges. Thank you very much.
About 12 and a half years ago, when Obutan Resolute Amansia left. So the pit was flooded with millions of liters of water, which was used for aquaculture. When we took over and we started mining about 2 years ago, we dewatered. And having dewatered a big pit with over 200 million is it gallons or liters?
6 million
liters of water. Naturally, the ground wouldn't be stable. So it took us about 30 months to dewater completely. And having walls which have been underwater for a long time, one would expect that the walls would not be stable. We had a few challenges initially, but then a few months ago we thought we should just go in and buy this equipment. And I think it served us very well. Sitting in my office and even at home, sometimes I get information saying that the west wall is going to fail, and it keeps your heart going giddy up. But all the same, people are there to get it all sorted out. I think it's important that other mining operators also learn from us. And please come and visit. Come and visit.
Yeah, look, I thought it was a great presentation. I guess it's always great to hear about Australian technology being used here over in West Africa. But I think what was more, great to hear was just how that technology is being personalised, and it's really helping upskilling. And I commend you for getting graduates aboard and training as well. Someone spoke about negative perceptions of mining. Here's a great story. You're getting someone young, ambitious, who's grabbing it, making it their own. We talked about cost management, risk management, and human safety. Here's a great story that's helping so many people, the industry. I commend it.